Jam on toast!
Hey everybody, I'm here today to talk about Star Trek Into Darkness. Just went to movie studio and grill with some friends, got to see the movie on the big screen, and I gotta say it was worth it. I'm impressed. If nothing else, the production quality of this movie is outstanding. If you just like seeing pretty things, go see all the pretty things. You will be entertained along the way. What I like it for this movie's got to be the good atmosphere. The first movie did a lot too. There's kind of a feel-good buddy cop vibe going on, especially as Kirk and Spock exchange quips throughout the movie. It builds you up. It makes you remember why you would have loved the first movie. It makes you kind of care about the characters, and it's a good, enjoyable time to sit back, turn your brain off, and relax. What I hated for this movie would be little things here and there with the physics of real things that could happen. Just for instance, in like the first real scene, or for instance, when they jump off the cliff into some rocks and they hit the water and the cliff's no longer there. The amount of time they swim to the ship. Silly thing. MVP of this movie, without a doubt, was Benedict Cumberbatch. I love it when they get the villain right, and his portrayal of Khan was fantastic. Really was. I'm going to add him to my list of favorite villains. He's a keeper. I'm going to remember that. I can't wait to see if they decide to go ahead and bring him back for another movie. It was really that good to see him there. Without further ado, let's go into the categories. Aesthetics. There is one thing that Abrams knows how to get right with the sci-fi movie, and it's the look of space. The giant ships, the detail that goes on the giant ships, the debris that's flashing around, even a lot of the physics. They did some research to get the high-end physics right. Aesthetics gets a 90. It really deserves that. Character development. Now, I'm going to acknowledge that the movie cheats a little bit because we've got a whole previous movie of character building, but if you sit back and you pretend as if you didn't watch the first movie, then you can still see them building the characters back up. Small little reactions here and there. Immediately they establish relationships between everybody. If you're unfamiliar with the shirt system they've got going on, they try to remind you who's what, even if it's through stupid little jokes and whatnot. They did a really good job revamping the characters and introducing the new characters, even if they didn't stick around all that long. They did an especially good job with the characters you weren't supposed to know things about, which is actually an important thing, is the negative, what you're not being told about the characters, and I really appreciated that in this movie. Character development gets a 90. Storyline. I think many Star Trek fans would agree that Khan is a classic story. I'm not a fan of the original Star Trek, but the story of Khan kind of impressed me. I knew a little bit going in, and I gotta say I was impressed. I like the story. It's such a neat idea, and it keeps you guessing. And even though I know enough about stories and movies to be able to predict things, I wasn't surprised, but I was very happy. They gave the positions that they needed to give in the storyline to make it go forward and make it be good. And knowing that that's what they were going to do doesn't ruin that if it's the right choice. Storyline gets a 90. Compulsion. At this point, I can't surprise you with anything there. You're going to want to watch this movie. You're going to be intrigued about so much in this movie. There's something for everyone, regardless of whether or not you're a Star Trek fan or a sci-fi fan. If you step back out of the sci-fi world and just look at what the characters are doing, it's there. You want to know who's going to say next. You want that next good laugh. You want to see that next amazing feat that's going to happen. You want to see what treachery is going to be around. It's there. Whatever you want, it's there. So, Compulsion gets a 90. Total all that up, that's 90s across the board. Average is 90. 90's a top grade movie. I would recommend this to anybody. If you're not super anal retentive like me, then you're probably going to enjoy this movie even more. If you sit back, turn your brain off, you're going to have a good time. Go out, see it while it's in theaters, get that experience. And I really hope Abrams getting Star Wars doesn't take away from us the few good Star Trek movies that we still deserve. I want to see him focus on this, but if he can lend anything to the new Star Wars movies, it's going to be that space atmosphere and possibly some good character chemistry. Acknowledgements where they're due, though. As well as that's written, and as good as the actors as they are, if those actors didn't have the chemistry they did, particularly Kirk and Spock, I'm telling you, it would not have been the great movie that it is. I think that's it for me. I'm Cameron. Have a nice day.